Welcome back to the Mind Hiking Podcast. Thanks for tuning into this bonus episode. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and today we're going to be talking about a long-lost skill. Actually, skills. Curiosity and wonder. Just the art of asking questions and showing interest in things, especially life. And I think we're too distracted and we're losing our sense of curiosity and just awe and wonder for the world that we live in. I mean, we're all here, and I think we're making problems that don't need to be here. We're making things more complicated, and I think life is much more beautiful and much greater than what it looks like on the surface, or at least the societal structures that we place ourselves in, unfortunately. So today we're going to be talking about just staying curious and finding wonder in your life, and just not surrounding yourself with the kind of people that drain you and just suck the life and energy out of you, and just don't support your curiosity and wonder for life. So hopefully this message speaks to you today, and I hope you enjoy. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. Isn't change just the darndest thing? I always hated speeches growing up in school and stuff. I was always good at them, but I always hated doing them. But here I am doing them just because I enjoy it now. It's just the only constant in this world is change. The only constant at all is change. It's a crazy world we live in, but it is a beautiful thing, which leads me into today's topic, which is curiosity and just staying curious about the world. It's so crucial. It's so important. And in today's life, it's like you just don't see it anymore. It's because I think we're just like building concrete worlds around us, and like we're just losing the greenery and losing the like beauty of nature, and we're just creating our own shit and calling it beautiful also, which a lot of it is, and just like the craftsmanship of human ingenuity and just creativity out of a human being is a beautiful thing. But Mother Nature is a beautiful thing as well, and I don't want us to forget that. And I don't think we cherish it as we should. I don't think we admire it and appreciate it like we should. And I don't think people leave their phones alone enough to be able to look around. And like, when's the last time you guys went outside without your cell phone? And this isn't about cell phones specifically. This is about distractions. Just being out in nature and appreciating it for what it is. It's just so beautiful. Just distractionless appreciation. It's amazing to me. And there's just too many people that are too distracted, and like, which is fine, and I'm part of the problem as well. Like, same with video games. I enjoy good video games, but people get obsessed and addicted and don't go outside. And it's especially as generations get younger, and it's just funny how this, like, every generation above us says the same thing about the next generation. Just like this is scary that this generation's taken over the world. And it's just like been that way forever. And it's funny to me that people can't, like other people can't catch on to this pattern, or like people that say that about my generation. It's just entertaining to me knowing that their parents said that about their generation and they hadn't caught on to this pattern yet. But it's just this pattern of like, it seems like it's just getting worse. And, which who knows, but I do know we are losing respect and appreciation for what was before. And we get distracted. We get distracted with our devices. We get distracted with just mostly just what I'm getting at is the devices and the technology. And I think we need to break away every now and then to free our minds and just walk in nature and just be curious about it. But little bit of a side note tangent that wasn't specifically where I wanted to go, but I want to focus in on the curiosity aspect. Just being curious about things in general. And this can specifically be about something human made as well. I just had to get my nature point across in the beginning. But it just asking questions is such a beautiful thing, and being curious about things. Little bit of a story here. This past weekend, I went scuba diving for the first time ever. So cool. Thank you to my mother, my amazing mom, Frye. She's been on the podcast. If you haven't listened to that episode, do it. It's awesome. She got a try scuba course for Katie, Steph, Doug, and I. And all of them have also been on the podcast, so check out all their episodes, especially Steph's, because she has very unique episodes for the podcast. Very unique. We do specific topics, and she's the only one that I get a chance to do that with, which is awesome. Like research specific topics, and they do very well. And yeah, so keep supporting her. She does a lot of research, and so much effort goes into her episodes, which it's so cool, and so cool to see the effort that we put in and the performance of each episode. They do awesome, and I really enjoy them. So Steph, you rock. Love you. Love all of you. But we all went scuba diving thanks to my mom, and it was just an amazing experience. It reminded me so much of when I first started to fly, and just like that beginning course. And I was talking to my instructor for scuba diving, and he was saying a very similar thing about when I started to fly too, where it was like he took the same like entry course, like the try scuba course, got addicted, fell in love, and signed up the next day to get his certificate, and hasn't stopped since. And he said he'd been doing it for 4 years, and just loves it. He was a young guy, but very passionate about it and very knowledgeable, and it was so cool. And it was just funny because same thing with flight for me. Like I did just like a basic flight, just like a 1 hour flying lesson, just to kind of test the waters, so to say, test the air, so to say. And I fell in love with it, and it was awesome. Signed up for the ground school and passed that with flying colors, and loved it. Flew for many hours, and it's just one of those things that life gets in the way, and I hadn't finished pursuing that. I always want to come back to that, but just hadn't finished that journey yet. That's still to come. But this scuba course, I definitely just like opened my eyes to seeing that, like, it's funny, this pattern Like, you can be so curious about anything and everything. Like, I felt like when I did that flying for the first time, I was like, whoa, why doesn't everybody do this? It's so cool. And then we did the scuba this weekend, and I'm like, whoa, why doesn't everybody do this? And then it finally clicked. I'm like, whoa, everybody can do, like, we as humans can do so many different things, and everybody can just get addicted to anything. And it's so true. It's so easy to just be obsessed and fall in love with any field. Like, it's like any of these things. Like, I just imagine, like, the people that do this for a living must be so lucky. It's just so amazing. Like, this kind of reminds me of a little short story of a fisherman that, I'm going to botch this, but, and I don't remember where I originally heard this, but, it was basically just a fisherman that just did a little bit of fishing during the day and sold enough fish to make a decent living, and kept enough for meals in the evening, just had a simple life near the ocean, and, just fished a little here during the day, had a beautiful family, a loving wife, and had some nice wine in the evenings, and just lived a good life. And he was very good and did it for many years, knew all the right spots. So he's a very successful fisherman. And then one day, a businessman approached him and said, "You're the best fisherman on this island," or wherever they were. But for this story that I'm making up, they were on an island. But "You're the best fisherman on this island. Like, why don't we buy a few boats and start a fleet? Why don't we start this fishing fleet? We could turn this into a huge business. We could turn this into a giant business. We could start many fleets. We could start doing like catching all these fish, and like start doing charters and things like this, and like all sorts of business ideas. And we could take this worldwide. We could go off this island, and we could take this all around the world, and just basically franchise it out, but collect all the skilled fishermen of the areas, create fleets under your name, and we could just branch off like that, and just like build this huge successful business." And then the fisherman was like, what's the point of that? And he's just like, "Well, you'll just be so successful. We can grow this business, and we can make so much money, and just be so successful, just building a business and getting so huge and big like that." And the guy's just like, again, what's the point? Why do that? What's the point in that? And he's just like, "Well, you keep doing this, and we'll be so successful. You can expand and grow and make it bigger and bigger, and one day you could just retire or do what you want and let the business run itself." And then the fisherman was just like, "And then what would I do?" And he was just like, "Oh, I don't know. You could do a little fishing, have a nice loving family, and drink some fine wine in the evenings." So basically the whole story is just that it's just a lot of extra steps for what he's already doing. And I thought it related to this topic, just because like there are so many different skill sets. There's so many different things that you can learn and things that you can do, like scuba and flying, but you can get involved, and you could do whatever you want with it, or you could just enjoy it for what it is. And I feel like that's a major issue for me, is because my mind is so active and all over the place that, like, I want to be so good at everything that I do, and I typically am pretty good at everything that I do, but I never become like super successful with, like, I was very good at motocross, state champ, and never got any further than that. Same with golf. I was in the paper for golfing in high school and just stopped doing that. and and it's just like I love too many things. Like I just so many hobbies and so many little things that I just like become obsessed with and like think it's so cool. Like the mountain biking, I just got obsessed with that and I just like all in and just love doing that. And there's just so many hobbies of mine that I get so invested in and like I love fishing too. And then I got into the flying thing and got all my flight gear and started flying. And then we did this scuba thing and who knows what's going to happen about this. So, but yeah, it's just like, I just love too many things and my mind is so active and I just like, it bounces all over the place. And I think that's a beautiful thing, just being curious, because there are so many things that we can do as humans while we're here and while we're alive. And I think that's so cool. Like I was sitting under the water and I just like I was literally just plopped on my butt in the bottom of this water and I'm just like sitting there watching the water just like wash, like move. Like I was just staring at my leg hairs while I'm breathing underwater. The weirdest feeling in the world. I was like, this is so weird. And I'm just watching my leg hair just like wash around and I'm like, that is so weird. And then I'm just like, I look up and I just like exhale and I just watch all the air bubbles just float freely up to the surface. And I'm like, that is so freaking cool. And I'm just like hold my hands above my head and exhale and just like watch the air bubbles run through my fingers and just looking around the world, looking out from your mind with wonder, just wonder for the world and curiosity. And it was just like sitting under this water is so beautiful. And then I'm just like, I look over at the instructor that's down there with us and he takes his respirator off and leans back and just like blows this huge air bubble and it just forms a massive air bubble ring and it starts floating up, floating up, and he's got a little torpedo rubber rocket thing and he just like throws it straight up through the air bubble ring that he just made and it shoots out of the water and then splashes back in. And I'm just like, that is just like looking at everything around you with awe. And then it was just like, it's just amazing. It's such a cool thing. And then I look over and then like I just pass the rocket to Doug and it'll just like go right past his face and he just like didn't even notice and it like falls behind him and I look over at Steph and she's just got air bubbles flying over her like all out of her mouth and everything and she's like holding her mask and her respirator in because she's like squinting her eyes laughing so hard and trying to be able to breathe still. It was just, and we're all just underwater. It was the coolest thing. And I'm just like, this is life. It's so cool. It's just being curious and having a good time and just looking around the world in awe and wonder. I just love it. And I think it's a good thing because like there's people that just spend their lives. They spend it. And that's a key word because you're spending time. When you are doing things, you're spending time because you don't get that back. When you are doing something, you will never get that time back and you can never do that over. You're spending your time. And it's different than money because you can always make money back, but you can't make time back. But you're spending time doing things. And I don't think we spend enough time just being curious and looking at the world and wonder. But so many there's so many like high level people that spent their lives becoming the best at their craft, which is a great, beautiful thing, and it's a very cool and honorable thing. But so commonly you hear like they spent their life being the best at what they do, and that was the cost. And maybe it depends on the person, I suppose, but maybe that's not the right path. Maybe maybe we're designed to do and try things. I mean, when we're growing up as children, we're playing with our little kitchen set, and we're gourmet chefs 1 minute, and then the next minute we're professional race car drivers playing with our little Hot Wheels cars or our little RC cars, and then the next minute we're like Army Rangers playing out in the woods, and then the next minute we're doing whatever else, and it's just, we're just like space people just building a space station. Or next thing you know, we're knights in shining armor building pillow forts, and it's just, and that's like minute by minute. You're living minute by minute as a child, being and doing everything, and then you become an adult and it's like focus on one thing. And maybe it's a good thing to not be super good at anything, but you lived a vast life. You tried. It's just such a flavorful life with all these different tastes and senses, and just like trying new things and doing new things. Just like this vast, wide, beautiful life of trying so many things. Like maybe that's the way to go about it. Just trying a bunch of things and just experiencing the fullness of what life has to offer while we're still here. That was just such a cool feeling, sitting underneath the water there and just looking around and taking it in, and something hit me there, and it's hit me before too, but I just love those reminders of this is what life's about. And just looking around, like, this is it. Like, just wonder in your eyes, and you look around and you see just wonder in everybody else's eyes, and laughter and good times, and it's just like soaking up those memories. And it's just such a cool, special experience. And Mom, I'm so grateful that you provided that for us, so thank you very much. But it's just, and there's so many different things out there that can provide that for you. It's just, I think being curious about things, asking questions and trying things is so important. And I don't think it's a bad thing to give things a try and ask questions. And it's just so easy to turn things down because everything's on social media and stuff now, and you can see and learn anything on YouTube. And it's just like, you can watch a YouTube video on scuba diving, and it's like, okay, yeah, that, like, sure, that looks cool, but then you get that gear on and you feel it and you experience it and you do it for real, and it's just not the same. It is not the same. It's so cool. You can watch videos of flying, but as soon as you get behind the controls and actually take off in a plane, and you're in control of it, steering that thing around, and it's just like not the same. When you're coming in for a landing and you're sitting in the cockpit as you're coming down, facing the runway, that hit me when I was flying. That hit me pretty hard, where I was like, I've never been looking straight on at a runway as a plane's landing. Normally I'm just looking out the side window, but that was a cool experience, coming straight on at a runway. But it's just like, life has so much to offer, and just like ask questions and be curious. And that's why I love like this podcast and theories and thoughts. I love asking questions. I love a good theory. I love just keeping an open mind and being open and questioning things. And same thing with religion as well. It's just good to ask questions. It's good to be open and honest, and maybe that's what we're here for. Maybe like it's just, it's not easy, but it's so doable to make a hell out of heaven, or a heaven out of hell. You just being curious and being in your mind and understanding how it operates, or not how it operates, but that you can operate it and be curious and you can ask questions. And even if it is about religion as well, and if there is a God, I don't think that he would be mad for asking questions. I think it's good to be curious. I think we're here to ask questions. I think we're here to gain knowledge. I think we're here to grow. And I don't think you'll get punished for asking questions. I don't think you'll get punished for being curious about the world and experimenting and trying things. I think this world has so much to offer, and it's just such a beautiful thing. And I want to try it all. I want to try everything. I want to experience the fullness of life, the vastness of our senses, and just like everything is so beautiful in its own way, and just like the twinkle in your eye, the sparkle, and you can see like through the eyes into the mind and see the wonder and like the stars, like a galaxy in someone's eye of wonder and curiosity for the world around them, and just the gratitude for being placed in the human being that they're placed in. And why don't we just explore? Why don't we do things? Why don't we try things? It's as far as we know, we only get this one life, and we got to make the most of it. And don't get wrapped up in all these societal issues and the drama and the frustrations of life. It is so easy to get caught up in that, the dramas and the people talking negative and the people just like complaining that don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. Like, just don't be around those people. It's so draining. It just like sucks the life out of you, and it's not worth it. You lose the appreciation for life as it is. You lose appreciation for the world that we live in, and that you lose the sense of curiosity and wonder. That's precious. Curiosity and wonder is a precious thing, and we need that. We need to guard that. Guard that like it's our hearts. Keep it safe in our hearts. And get out there and explore, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, like, share, follow, and listen wherever you get your podcasts. On YouTube, we just recently, a couple weeks ago, got on YouTube, so no video yet. That will be coming soon, but still check us out there. And have a great rest of your week, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, guys.